myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Jeter ends his final game with a walk-off single.
Here's the drive to left. That one is long gone.
Take a Russ. La 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 la.
Welcome to the Long Gone Podcast. It's me, Michael, and with me as always, S-Man.
What up?
Steve Ford.
How's it going?
What's up, man?
Take a Russ.
Take your Russ. That came out of
Remember
nowhere.
that from Chris's vacation?
Take your Russ. Take a Russ.
Oh my gosh. I would do that with, I'll do that sometimes in the car with Gemma when we're driving to school. And there'll be like a Christmas song on and I'll start jamming out with it. And I'll be like, take a gem.
Does she pick it up or is she
La,
like,
la,
no,
la, 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 la. She does not want to play with
She's
it.
like,
So
she like, nah. She's like, I'm
she's
set.
like, nah, 6'7".
6'7". All the kids are saying it nowadays.
It's the thing. I'm asking Santa this year to see if it can go out of style. That'd be great.
That'd be fantastic.
Right.
Speaking of 6'7", you know who's not going to be batting 6'7" in the Orioles lineup?
Good transition there. That would be the polar bear, right?
Yeah, he's going to be like 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, Orioles went shopping at the zoo, picked themselves up a polar bear.
Yeah, they did.
That's a big
old
big
polar
signing.
bear.
Yeah, that was a shocking signing. I'll say I was not expecting Baltimore's cheap selves to get in on the Pete Alonso sweepstakes, but what are you going to do, right? You know?
Hey, this is kind of what you want as a team, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I think last year with the Orioles, it was pretty eye-opening for them. I mean, they looked at it, they said, okay, we're at a point now where our youth is starting to take over the team, but we're falling a little flat, so we need to inject it with some actual money. I mean, I applaud them for building it up the right way, right? I mean, everybody is kind of taking this. I always say it comes back to the 2011 Astros, where it was like, okay, we're losing, let's do the rebuild. And then by 2016, 17, they started winning. I mean, and they did it with their youth, and then they injected some money into it. So that's when you started getting big trades, the Verlander, blah, blah, blah. So the Orioles are kind of taking the same approach. They rebuilt their program. They probably won more than they thought they should back in 24. And they thought, okay, let's ride this into 25. Kind of like what the Toronto Blue Jays did the year before last. And it just didn't work out. You're like, you need to inject this with more money. Well, they did. And I think Pete Alonso was a massive fucking signing for him.
Yeah. Was it 5 years, 155 or something right around
Yeah,
there
155. You know,
a
lot of these guys, a lot of people thought, because you kind of said it in your song, I mean, or not just your song, but I mean, you said it before that you can't believe that, you know, nobody thought that they would be winning, right? Or not winning, but spending, right? I mean, that was a big surprise that they're going to be spending. And they suddenly are kind of in the market now, which is crazy, right? I mean, they got rid of Grayson Rodriguez. They got rid of Grayson Rodriguez. They brought in Taylor Ward from the Angels, who is a consistent hitter, and then they bring in Pete Alonso, right? So right now you're looking at a lineup of Jackson Holliday at second base, Taylor Ward at left, batting second, Gunnar Henderson shortstop, Pete Alonso, on the cold corner at first base. Adley Rutschman needs a bounce-back season. Jordan Westbrook at third base, batting sixth. Seventh, Kobe Mayo, DH. Colton Cowser, center field. And then youngster Dylan Bieber's in right field. I mean, they're all pretty young for the most part, except like maybe Taylor Ward and Pete Alonso, what have you. But, Steve, what do you like this? Do you like this lineup? Do you think it's potential?
Yeah, I like the potential on this lineup. I think if, on paper, it fucks real hard. I'll say that.
I agree.
Like you said, we need bounce-back years from Adley Rutschman, and you need a consistent year from Gunnar Henderson. Curious to see what Holiday does, but on paper this looks like a very, very solid lineup. But again, it goes back to we'll see what the starting pitching does with Baltimore, because even when their lineup was churning offensively, when they made the the run to the division championship a couple of years ago, it was always the pitching. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, this lineup it looks pretty stacked. It's going to give the Blue Jays and the Yankees, I think, a run for their money. So
Yeah.
again, I think this helps solidify the AL East is probably one of the top divisions in baseball.
Well, I think a lot of people were scared last year. They did nothing. I mean, they let Corbin Burns walk, right?
Which that turns
Uh,
out to be a smart move.
which turned out to be a really, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very, very smart move. But this season, they decided, hey, we got to spend on both sides, right, of the plate. So they got Trevor Rogers, great fucking signing. It's weird enough, they're going to add him to their rotation. Right now, he's listed in their depth chart as part of their rotation. I don't know if that's a good move or not, but I think
Yeah.
that's just, I don't think they're done signing players. I think that's the big one. But because right now you have a rotation led by Kyle Bradish, Dean Kramer, Tyler Wells, Cade Povich, which youngster, right? 25
Yep.
years old. He's looks to be long term, and then you got Brandon Young. But then they went out, they got Ryan Helsley back, or not back. I mean, they got Ryan Helsley in from because he was at the Cardinals, and then remember he kind of left, and then it was kind of up and down, and then they got Ryan Helsley in there, and I think that was a wicked good fucking move for them.
I agree. Yeah. I think that they're making the push here. I think we had talked about it at the end of last season. Whether this new group of owners here, whether they're going to spend or not, and I think the answer is in. It's a resounding yes. So that's good on Baltimore, and I'm glad to see them making this push after a very disappointing last season.
Yeah, me too, bud. I mean, I really thought it was just disappointing. It was very much reminiscent to the Toronto Blue Jays in 24, right?
Yep.
Where it was just like, what is going on with these guys? You're suddenly
Yeah.
built to win.
Yeah.
And it was just a few more pieces missing. And I think Baltimore hopes, I think they hope that this is the missing links here. Good on them for spending the money, getting out there. And where Baltimore is winning, what are the Mets doing? I mean, they got poached, right? They poached Ryan Helsley. They poached Pete Alonso.
Yep.
What's
They've
going
lost
on?
Edwin
They
Diaz.
lost. Right. That's right. They lost Edwin Diaz. What's going on with
I
this
don't know
team?
what
And
they're
they
doing,
traded
dude.
Nimmo, right? They got
Yep.
Marcus Semien, which I don't know if is much of an upgrade there.
I
But
don't think it is. It's a aging player for aging player, but I think Nimmo is the better of the two right now.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't know what the hell the Mets are doing besides languishing in neutral right here. It's I don't get it. Yeah, I mean, after a colossal collapse this past season, and just seeing them not making strides to move forward with a better team, it's kind of mind boggling to me, especially after they signed Soto to that long big ass contract. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. I mean, the money's there, right?
Yep. You got an owner that wants to win, has been shown to spend. But I don't know what's going on in Queens right now. It's crazy.
Well, it's so lopsided. I mean, you're willing to spend the money, but you're not making the correct moves.
Right.
I mean, right. And people are going to say, well, who are you guys to say what are the correct moves or not? Well, I mean, we could kind of see the writing on the wall. I mean, to me, one of the foundations of your team was Pete Alonso. He came up with the club.
Your face.
And you're talking about a guy that can get you well over 100 RBIs. Who's going to replace that? You already just said Marcus Semien is not that guy. I mean, basically, in so many words, you were basically saying Marcus Simeon's not that guy. So you're depending on Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor to be the majority of your run getters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they got a promising top prospect pool, but I mean, Carson Benj is coming up, and you have some promising names coming up, and I actually really do like their pitching staff. I mean, a lot of people. There's some people that are down on it. They're like, we need Tarik Skubal. We need a big name. I don't know if you do. I mean, Nolan McLean, David Peterson, Clay Holmes, Sean Manaea, Kodai Senga. I don't mind it. And I thought the Devin Williams was a sneaky good good move, sneaky good signing away from New York. So, or the Yanks. So I don't mind it. I think they need to solidify that bullpen a little bit, but I think it's sputtering, dude. And they don't have. I don't know if they can make up the RBIs. I mean, Semien seemingly seems to be at the end of his career, and you're taking on a big contract. And I don't know. To me, I look at it as who's the centerpiece, because right now it's Juan Soto. He's bought, he's the guy you bought, right? So that's the guy who's your centerpiece. But I'm always a big fan of you build within, right? You like I just said at the beginning of the show, you develop the Astro way, and then you buy to kind of form all the pieces. That's solidifying. It seems they built and then got rid of pieces.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
You've improved your bullpen to an extent. Essentially you're trading in Devin Williams and losing a Edwin Diaz, but you've taken, like you said, two big pieces of your offense away, and especially in someone in Pete Alonso, where's the 30, 40 plus home runs going to come from, and 100 plus RBIs.
Right.
You're losing a very big run producer in Alonso, and you haven't done anything to really make up for that here. So
not at all.
It's shitty.
Yeah, it's shitty. And you kind of got to figure out what you're gonna do. I mean, I loved what the Phillies did, re-signing Schwartz, right? I think they're going to figure out what their rotation's going to look like, what their bullpen's going to look like moving forward. But a team that's getting better, which I thought are making the smart moves, has been the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves suddenly went from a mid-tier to low-tier bullpen to a top tier by re-signing Iglesias, which that was a need to do. And then they, guys in their 30s here, but then Robert Suárez, which to me, Steve, came out of nowhere. I mean, who's going to be closing for this team? Is it going to be by committee between these two?
Yeah, it might be by committee. I mean, right now I still get the slight edge to Iglesias over Suárez, but
I do too.
I think it's definitely going to have to get a look at both. But you got a very nice back end of that bullpen shaping up, but how much is this going to get used? Because spoiler alert, we talked about it earlier, or a lot of times in our shows during the season, their starting pitching blows right now.
Blows.
So they're going to have to go to that bullpen a lot. So, but what you have in there, especially like you said, with the addition of Suárez, and then re-signing Iglesias, that has setting up to be a great back end of that bullpen. So, I like it. It's shaping up to be probably one of the top bullpens in the NL, I think.
Yeah, especially in those tight game situations where you need a guy to come in and close. You get your pick between Iglesias, who could either be a setup man or a closer, and then same with Robert Suárez, vice versa. So, Robert Suárez comes in with a 2.97 ERA from last year, but I was more impressed with what he did with his saves, which is a testament how well his team was able to finish, which were the Padres. They were able to finish really good last year in terms of like games. I mean, they really helped Suárez out. He didn't blow a lot of saves, which really helps. So you're hoping the Braves get to that point. But like you mentioned, the rotation's the opposite, right? I mean, who do we have here? We have Spencer Strider, who we're hoping once he came back last year, that because he wasn't good, you're hoping that wasn't like a career problem, like, okay, well, the side of his career at a young age. So they got Spencer Steer, they got Bryce Elder, who has been up and down, Joey Wentz, which is crazy.
Joey Wentz is back, baby.
Chris Sale, he's getting older. Grant Holmes, Ronaldo Lopez, who I really do like. I like Spencer Schwellenbach. I really think he could be something. And then they got AJ Smith-Shawver, who up and down as well, but there's some good there, right? But I think, and they have a lot of, I think they have some good prospects coming in later on, but they need to figure out and kind of get back to, because their rotation in years past has never been a problem up until the last
it's stacked
years.
With Max Fried and like Strider when healthy, always top guy. And I think you hit the nail on the head. If you're including Joey Wentz in your rotation, you got some serious problems going right now.
Right. I mean, the only thing that makes him valuable is that he's a lefty. And I think when there's certain pitchers at the end of their career, because Joey Wentz is still relatively young, but he was a top prospect that just really never panned out, and he started in the Braves organization, I believe.
Right.
Before I think he came over in that Shane Green trade.
Yeah, we got the Tigers got him for a bit, and and it was always funny with Joey Wentz starts, because he'd look absolutely unhittable, and then the wheels would come off after like 6 innings, but then other times he'd just look not right from the start and just get knocked around. It'd be like a inning and a third.
He looks like that John Travolta gift where he's kind of like in Pulp Fiction. where he's
Yeah,
looking
just looking
around.
around. Yeah, exactly.
But I think a lot of people, and I wonder. We'll have an Enos Saris interview for you guys in a couple weeks, but
Yeah.
I wonder if we were to speak to him about, is it some of these guys that find homes other places? Is it because they're like, I'm talking pitchers,
Uh-huh.
guys that were basically down and out, guys who just didn't make sense? Like, why sign guys? Is it because they're lefties? Is it because lefties are such a want? And it's always been a want in
That
Major
must
League
be, yeah.
Baseball. You have a southpaw pitcher that gives you some value because because you're predominantly have right-handed hitters, so the
Right.
lefty-righty matchups kind of work. I mean, that's why I think sometimes that's why Matthew Boyd got work, I think,
Mhm.
after his
Over and
stint with the
over.
Tigers. And and I think being a lefty really does help pitchers. So I think that's why Wentz is able to kind of chug along, right?
Yep,
With the
yep.
team. It's like, okay, it didn't pan out here, but it might work out here,
Yeah, the
So
Brad Ausmus of pitching. Yep.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Always finds a job.
Always. How does
Always
he
finds
do
a
it?
job. It's your guess is as good as mine. Oh boy.
So everybody listening, we do have an interview that we're going to come up in a little bit. Before we get there, Steve and I are going to touch on something we've talked about throughout the year. I mean, this is I guess let's do gloves off on it. We don't have to dissect it overly because we're trying to figure out this market. But now that we're balls deep in this off season, winter meetings are kind of chugging along. Not a lot of big deals. I mean, the biggest deal so far, I think, is the Schwarber re-sign and the Alonso signing. It, to my opinion, were the biggest ones.
Yep, I
But
agree.
looking at figuring out the Tarik Skubal trade market. Now, one thing I don't like about baseball offseason are the rumors are mostly shit, right?
Yeah, they are.
Every
Take
team,
them all with a grain of salt.
you
Yep.
have to, because every team is in the mix for everybody, right? You
Yep.
can have a team like the Red Sox to the Marlins to this, and they'll always say, even the Pirates, and they'll say, they'll throw these headline grabbing things like Schwarber signing with Pittsburgh? Question mark.
Dude, I was just about to bring that one up. Yeah. Oh, we're trying to dangle the Pirates in here like they'd actually spend money.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Tigers, every day they got somebody new that we're going after in those rumors. I think it's just writers who don't know what to write about. So basically, they're going to throw themselves.
There's no big signings going on right now, but I gotta still put a piece out. So how about I just get some clickbait here to
that's all it is in my opinion.
To help stir the pot. Yeah.
That's all it is in my opinion. And Tarik Skubal, if you ask every team, he is going to play for him, right? So let's break this
on all of them.
Let's break this down, Steve. I'm going to put you in the GM seat real quick, and then I'll give my thoughts on it as well. You're Scott Harris. You and I have talked about this. The longtime listeners to our show, they kind of know where we stand on this, but I kind of want to get a clear sense of where we stand now that the market seems to be kind of thinning itself out a little bit for Tarik Skubal, whether it's a want or not. Okay, you're in the GM seat for the Tigers. Do you trade Skubal? If you trade Skubal, what are you looking to get? If you don't trade Skubal, then what are your plans for him going into the season, in 26 season?
Putting a lot of weight on this one.
I know. Take it away, Scott Harris. I mean, Steve Ford.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Man, you and I have talked about it. We don't think signing Skubal long term would be nice, but not for the money that we pretty much know that he's commanding. That $300 to $400 million range. I cannot see paying a pitcher that much money for someone that doesn't go more than 6 innings and is a pitcher, so he's only pitching every 5th day. Going through winter meetings, I thought if it was going to get done, it was going to get done here at the winter meetings. But now that we're through it and nothing's really come of it here, I'm going to say ride it out right now and just see how we start the season, see what happens here, and then we'll see where we're at come trade deadline. I'd like to, if it was me, I would have wanted to trade him right now, get him out of the way, because he's not going to re-sign here, to the money that the Tigers want to pay, me with the Tigers. And if I am going to get rid of him, I would say, I want major league ready talent or prospects that are major league ready. Either people that are already in the leagues or people that are ready to go right now, But Like I said, we passed the winter meetings. Things are starting to simmer out here on the stove. I say ride it out. The Tigers signed Kenley Jansen to get some more bullpen help. They got Kyle Finnegan in there, so obviously they're bolstering up that bullpen to go for it here. Is it going to be another pitching chaos here? We shall see. But I say, at this point, give it one more run, see where we're at come July. Because the more we get into the season, the less you're going to be able to get for this guy. And yeah, and then I just say, see what happens come July if we're in contention. Hold on to it. If Scott Harris believes in his prospects the way that he does, then we're going to get a compensatory pick when he walks, and next man up, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Next man up. So you want to go into the season with the Tarik Skubal?
Just ride him out. Yep. Give it one last run at it here.
Okay, now a lot of people think Scott Harris is an idiot if he were to do that, or should, for lack of better terms, they don't think it's smart that he does it. I'm not calling him an idiot. I actually think it could be smart both ways. Okay, Steve, say we do trade him, right? We're going to need a massive haul. That's one thing of these rumors. When we get all these rumors, I'm not loving the hauls, and it seems like nobody wants to give up a number one prospect. They want to give up a 2, 3, or 4, which to my understanding, it's like, well, no, I'm giving you some guy that's good in his prime. But then a lot of people look at Tarik Skubal like, no, we're basically paying for a 1-year rental instead of a half-season rental at the trade deadline. That's true. But and I know MLB doesn't really do this a lot, but you can also do sign and trades, but that doesn't really happen a lot because you're trying to determine his market. It would be smart for Tarik Skubal because what Scott Boras and them they want to sign Tarik Skubal now because they're worried about the CBA coming out of next year, for next year.
Sure.
Now, about the whole Scott Harris being an idiot, I think if they did what you said to do, that's not necessarily a bad move because one, you are giving your team a shot saying, okay, let's ride it, do or die. Let's ride it. Let's see if we can make a World Series. Let's make some memories. And you can do this. If it's not working out, you can trade them at the deadline for something, at least top 5 guys, top 5, top 3, you can get a haul of top 10 guys potentially, but not, that probably X's out a number 1 or what have you of a top prospect. But say you ride that. Well, then you're getting Skubal at 30 years old, 30, 31 years old, and you can move on and say, we gave it our best go. But Skubal himself Skubal and Boras would be pissed because the longer he stays with the Tigers during the season, the less money he gets.
Yeah.
Because he's getting older. And you're right. It's a guy, in my opinion, I mean, it came out that he took him, AJ Hinch just revealed in the winter meetings, Skubal said he was done in that game, in that last game. And everybody was, what the fuck, Hinch? What are you doing? Like, you're an idiot. No, I'm sorry.
I'm following my pitcher's advice.
Apology.
Yep.
It was Skubal who threw 99 on that last pitch, 100 or 99.
I'm gassed.
And you're gassed? Like, what is that? Like,
nope.
I don't know. So,
and I think even like I told you before, his matchups with Polanco, he even said he didn't. The matchup wasn't working that day, and it probably wouldn't have been good to roll the dice again because Polanco, I think, was coming up in the next part of the inning, and so he was basically him saying nope. He basically pulled himself out.
I don't like that. I don't. Nope. And he might go down as one of the great pitchers. He might be a Hall of Fame pitcher. One thing that's cool about him, he's an incredibly nice guy. I hear.
Yeah.
Family man. You just hear all these good things about him. Competitor. Okay. But if he's not willing to just say, I'm going to take this and I'm going to win I want to win this game for you guys. I don't want a pitcher like that because even guys who aren't the kind of aces Tarik Skubal are willing to take that ball and say, no, give it to me. I want to fucking do this. You know what I mean? I mean, even Jack Flaherty, I think, would want to be like, no, please keep me out here.
Keep me out there. I'm rolling tonight. Let me keep going. Yep.
So that to me is just because we compare it to the greats of the Tigers, Jack Morris, Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, all of them. I mean, you almost had to fight Max Scherzer. John Schneider almost had to fight Max Scherzer to get the ball from Toronto.
And Justin Verlander would pick different stairs to go down so you'd avoid Jim Leyland after an inning, so you wouldn't be taken out of a game. Yeah,
dude. So I'm kind of with you on this. I'm with you. I think it'd be better for them to trade him. But it would just depend on what the package looks like. I'd have to get a haul. I mean, I want to rob somebody's
farm system.
Farm system. Yeah, I want to rob their farm system. And if we can't find that kind of deal, like the Dodgers, right? So far, the Dodgers have been like the biggest rumor. Some people are saying a deal's done. They just got to work out. You know, they're trying to sign and trade kind of thing. Blah 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 blah. And it doesn't make any sense. It's like, okay, DePaula is like their main guy, and then you got Zaire Hope, and then you know, it's like, no, I want your 1 and 2 and your 5 and maybe your 3. You know what I mean? And then I want Emmett Sheehan, and then I want Ryan River. You know what I mean? I'm picking, and then give me Andy Pegas. You know what I mean? Like I want to make this worthwhile. Don't give me guys, because when you get prospects, they're all a gamble. It's like getting a scratch off lottery.
In your mind, you're thinking of the Verlander trade. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Scott Harris can't fuck this up. He can't fuck this up. If he fucks this up, whether he trades him or not, if he fucks this up, that's the end of it's going to taint his being a GM forever. And Chris Ilitch cannot have him be a GM if he fucks this up. He just can't.
Yep. Yeah, because he's already made questionable moves to begin with the Rodriguez and that trade deadline. He's made
I remember when he was like he had no backup.
We have a trade in place. You do realize he has a no trade clause, and then he chose to use it. Yeah,
I think his secretary brought that up to him. Like,
yeah, God.
So we're gonna get Dalton Rushing. We're sending the Dodgers, baby. All of a sudden, his secretary, did you read his contract? There's a minute to go. We're doing this. Did you read his contract? He has no trade clause. What? Say what now?
Yeah. He's got to get it right. And to his credit, he's not just pulling the trigger on the first offer he hears. And he's listening to it all. And if he's going to do something, like you said, it's got to be a major haul, or else just keep him around and ride it out. Because if he ends up leaving, we still get a compensatory pick. So, and then we can pick our own player at that point, and develop. So
that's the way we do it. So
that's how we roll.
Interesting. I wouldn't, like I said, I'm kind of with you. I could go both ways. At this point, might as well keep him, because you're just pushing Scott Boras and Tarik Skubal. They're getting worried. Like, we need a deal now. We want to do it before the new CBA, because we are expecting a full-on strike, or lockout. So
why don't you play our game, and we'll sign you long-term to our terms right there. What do you think about that, Scott? No?
Yeah. I mean, we can get high. We can get high per year if you want. We're just not going to do the years.
We're not going to do the years. Yep.
We're not going to pay a pitcher till he's 40 years old. This doesn't make sense.
No.
Especially when the guy that's taking himself out before the 7th inning. So
exactly.
Steve, we got a huge guest this week.
Yeah. Yes.
Huge.
This was fun.
Yeah. This was fun. We recorded it earlier. It was a really, really fun interview. But everybody, when we come back, we will be talking to New York Times bestseller Jeff Pearlman.
Enjoy.
With us today is a multiple New York Times bestseller who has written several acclaimed books, including some of my personal favorites, which I'm going to name now. The Bad Guys Won, The Last Folk Hero, The Life and Myth of Bo Jackson, Gunslinger, Showtime, of course, with Magic, Kareem, Riley, and the Los Angeles Lakers dynasty of the 1980s, and his recent release book, Only God Can Judge Me, The Many Lives of Tupac Shakur. Jeff Pearlman, thanks for joining us.
I mean, you told me this is a bucket list interview, and that puts a lot of pressure on a guy. Like, usually I'm just like, oh, we couldn't get John Wertheim, so can you do it? So this is a lot of pressure right here.
Just be ready and edit. Michael's so excited about this. He's going to add like music and probably some fireworks to it. It's going to be great.
That I like.
I guess the first question for me is your sports work often peels back the myth around sports heroes. One thing I've always loved about your style, you personally, and an overall outlook, is your ability to not get starry-eyed, hence blinders. When it comes to these pro athletes, was that something you've always done, or was it something that you developed the more experience you became with your craft?
When I was a baseball writer at Sports Illustrated, so I got to SI in 1996. And I remember, like, I go to spring training, I get 5 minutes with, whoever, Roy Halladay or David Wells or Torrey Hunter. And people would say, "Oh, what's so-and-so like? Oh, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. Such a great guy. Such a nice guy. Such a nice guy. Such a nice guy." I'm like, as you get older, you just realize, like, of course they were such a nice guy. It was 5 minutes with a reporter from the biggest sports magazine in the country. They're going to be nice people, you know? So I would say I was definitely a little starry-eyed, but I was more like, I just thought everyone was such a nice guy, you know? And I really wanted everyone to be a nice guy. So I guess that's kind of, at least I try to be a positive person. But as you do this longer and longer, I think you appreciate people for the complexities, and you appreciate, I also, I've changed in a lot of ways where I don't think you being an asshole at certain points in your life necessarily makes you an asshole. It's just part of your life journey. So I just think as I've gotten older, the biggest thing is I recognize that people are complex, and people have multiple experiences that make them good, bad, high, low, left, right. And that instead of just surmising people as, oh, he's a good guy because he was nice to you for 5 minutes, I'm more interested and find myself very fascinated in what makes a person who he is and what steps in his life led him to that point. And the same can be said for me and you two guys. Like, we all have these things, these highs, these lows, these behaviors we're ashamed of, and these behaviors we're proud of. I'm just kind of interested in all of them. So I've definitely changed over the years, probably for the better in that regard.
When you like, what gets you to start a book? Like, can you take us just a little bit into the process of how you start a book, from what draws you to a certain subject that you want to cover? I mean, you've had so many different spectrums that you've covered between sports and obviously not, moving forward with people like Tupac Shakur and that. So, what makes you choose, what draws you to a subject where you're like, yep, I'm going to write about this person? And what's the process from the start to the finish? Like, do you have publishers you want to pitch early on? Do they come to you first? I mean, what's the process like?
Well, so I have an agent. So like the Tupac book, this is the first time I've had, it's a three book deal. So Tupac was the first of 3 books, which is kind of nice. Like, it takes a little of the pressure off. Usually, whatever, my last book, hopefully it sells pretty well. I'll talk to my agent. What book do you want to do next? I don't know, Walter Payton. Well, you'll take it first. You always have to take it. The publisher you went with has right of first refusal. So let's say HarperCollins publishes a book. You first give it to them and you hear their offer, and then you can take it out, but you have to at least give them the offer first. That's the base level of how you figure out where to go. I feel like what I'm usually looking for, in a way I can sum it up, I have 3 things I think about. Number one, these are in no order actually, but one of them is it a book that would hold my interest for 2 years, like reporting? Like, is this something I won't lose my mind? Like, my biggest regret book is my Roger Clemens book. And the biggest regret about my Roger Clemens book is I didn't find him that interesting. So 2 years of reporting on someone who you don't find that interesting kind of sucks. Like, it's not that fun.
Yeah.
He just wasn't a curious person. He was kind of a boob who just played baseball, That's not always as fun. So that's one. Number 2 is, has it been done well already? Like, has it been done and has it done well? Like, just as an example, like Ian O'Connor wrote a great, great, great Aaron Rodgers biography. Jonathan Ive wrote a great Martin Luther King biography. Mark Kriegel wrote a great Mike Tyson biography. There's no need for me to come and try to do it too. Like, it'll just be frustrating, and those guys are better than I am. So what's the point? It's just not worth it. Tupac, as an example in this regard, there have been a ton of books about him, but there was never the book I wanted to read about him. There were a lot of, fan-related books, and there's an estate book, but there's never the book I wanted to write. And I thought there was enough there that I would find him fascinating. And then number 3 is, can it sell? Like, I do have to make a living off of this career. So there's no guarantees. Like, Clemens bombed. That didn't sell well at all. But a Roger Clemens book theoretically could sell well. It's not like saying I want to write a Bob Tewksbury book. Like, it's a big name, famous, Hall of Fame, controversial guy. So those are basically the 3 things I kind of think about. And as far as the process, I mean, I usually give myself 2 years. Tupac was a little closer to 3.
Wow.
I usually take about 1.5 years, and all I do is report. I mean, the first thing I always do is go to eBay. and buy everything about the person I can find, every old book, every old article. And eBay becomes my best friend. Like Tupac spent a lot of his youth in Baltimore, so I buy a lot of books about inner city Baltimore, the history of Baltimore. He then went to Marin City. All right, what can I find about Marin City? What yearbooks can I find? All this stuff. And I spend a year and a half calling people, creating a newspaper library of the people, digging. And then I usually take 7 months and every day I write. And that's the hardest part of it all. The hardest part is the 7 months, of just writing nonstop. It can absolutely drive you insane, which it has done for me many times.
Just digging into your books, my research and going, before this interview, I noticed you interview a lot of subjects for your books. The Barry Bonds book, I think, goes over 500. The Showtime books, things like that. You get remarkably candid material from former players and insiders. How do you build that sort of trust for that access, and what methods do you use to corroborate vivid but conflicting recollections of it?
Yeah. First of all, I think, if I'm being honest, part of it is salesmanship. Like you're basically asking people to talk to you, and what they get in return is maybe being in a book. Like they're no even guarantee. Like I've had people just with my most recent book, hey, am I in the book? People I interviewed for hours, and it's like, well, so a lot of it is like it's honest salesmanship, but it's like, look, I'm working on this book. I want it to be the definitive book about whoever. You were an important part of this, or you were there for a part of it, or you understand part of it. I would love to talk to you. So that's number one. Number two is it always helps to have a track record. And I've been around long enough that I kind of have a track record now, at least, of writing books that I can show people. For me, with Tupac, Winning Time helped a lot. My Showtime book became an HBO show. Saying to people, oh, I had this book that became a TV show. Like that helps. It gives you credibility, And also, I do that. I'm not just saying this. Like I have a lot of weaknesses as a journalist I'm happy to talk about, but I do think one of my strengths is I really, truly love more than anything listening to people's stories. Like I just do. I love it. And I think people like that. Like I do think my dad used to say, my late father used to say, he'd say, what's the thing that people enjoy talking about the most? And the answer is themselves.
Yeah.
And I think most people do enjoy talking about themselves. And I enjoy listening to people talk about themselves. So those kind of help a lot. And as far as like conflicting interviews, there are multiple answers. Number one is you fact check your ass off. Number two is biography is imperfect. So
Yeah.
if someone tells me about the time they played basketball and with Tupac, and Tupac only scored 2 points. Well, he might have scored 6 points, right? I'm going to have to take your word for it. So you kind of depend. It depends on the importance of the subject matter. Is it just someone telling a story about a time they rode bikes with Tupac? Or is it about the time Tupac got shot at Quad Studios? There's a difference in the importance of those levels. And you take fact checking to a much higher level when you're talking about Quad Studio shooting than you are, did Tupac have 2 Twinkies after score 3? If that makes sense.
Yeah. Does it does it ever bum you up when you write about somebody and they don't like your book? I remember you talking about Bo Jackson trying to stop your book at a certain bookstore, and there's other subjects you talked about that before that have tried to like stop what was going on. Does it kind of bum you out that they don't want to read your book or they don't like your book, or do you just not really care about if they do or don't?
I would love to say I don't care. I do care. The number one thing, and this is age old, and this goes back to my time as a young newspaper writer, the number one thing you want people to say is you got it right. Like they don't just have to like it. They don't have to hate it. Like Tupac, I've had people say, man, I really hated that you wrote about it, but he wrote about this or that, but you got it right. You got it right. That's all. I received a letter the other day from one of Tupac's cousins, a guy I really genuinely liked, and he hated the book. He hated the book, and he was really mad at me. And I wrote him back, and I kindly, and I actually appreciated him reaching out. But I ended by saying I stand fully by my reporting, which I do. And he really didn't. I didn't think he had any points against my reporting. He didn't like certain parts of the book, and he thought, like it's weird. Like this is off a little bit of a wayward path. Like one of his complaints was that I got a story wrong involving his mother, right? Well, his mother refused to talk to me. I tried multiple times to interview her. So like, if you decide not to talk to me, it was a story I got from Tupac's sister that also involved an aunt, basically. If you decide not to talk to me, which is 100% you're right, I think you have a little less of a case when you feel like, well, I was portrayed unfairly when a story involves you and you decided not to talk to me. Like, you don't owe it to me, but I do think it gives you a little less. So I don't know. I hate that shit. Bo Jackson called 4 bookstores. I think it was 3 bookstores in Alabama and told them not to let me speak. Like, I don't enjoy that. Like, I don't enjoy that. I understand it. I don't enjoy it. Brett Favre shit all over me. I don't love that. Like, I don't need anyone to say any of the subjects to say, this is the best book ever, blah, blah, blah. I mean, to be nice, but like, I just really want them to acknowledge that it was real and accurate and honest. And the best reactions I've gotten, I would say Showtime Lakers, 3-ring Circus Lakers, 86 Mets, and Barry Bonds. Bonds, for all I can't stand about that guy, never had a peep of negativity about the book. So maybe he didn't read it, but I don't know. No, I don't like it. I don't like criticism. I don't even know why I put myself in this. I don't even know why I do this job. Like, I decided to take a job. My wife is always like, what did you expect? She's all, what do you expect? I don't know why I put myself in this job, but I have for years and years, and I love enough of it that I deal with the negative as well.
You know, it's going off that, because I write too, and I always, this is kind of corny, but I kind of write for my parents because I hope they read it. And I remember you saying in your TikTok, your mom doesn't read your books. And my mom doesn't read my books. My dad read them all day. My mom doesn't read them, and that kind of hurts, because that's the one audience that I feel I want to impress. Are you kind of the same way? Do you want your family to be impressed by you? That's who you care about most, right? So that's, would that be fair?
It's a weird one. So my dad, Stan Pearlman, was my closest friend, my biggest fan. I was his biggest fan. He taught me more about writing than anyone. He died during the process of Tupac. He read every one of my books. He didn't care about sports. He didn't care about Tupac, but he read every one of my books, right? He knew nothing about sports, literally nothing, but he would read them. And my mom, for some reason, just never did. And she finally said she would read Tupac, and she read Tupac. And at one point in reading it, she literally said to me, I don't know why anyone would read this book. Now, she didn't mean because the writing was bad. She meant because she doesn't really get the topic. Like, she's reading about Tupac and she found him unlikable. But I later, this is very real. I later had a long talk with my mom. This is like 2 weeks ago during Thanksgiving break, where I told her how much that hurt, that hurt, and how much her not reading my books hurt. And she got very emotional, and she said she didn't realize it really hurt me this much. So yeah, it's not. What is it? I mean, it's not like I don't need my parents to brag about me. My mom hates bragging. I'm glad she hates bragging. I don't like bragging. I don't want my mom bragging about me. But I think you do, no matter how old you are. Like, I'm 53 years old. I still want my parents' approval. And I'm still the kid.
100%.
Like, when I was writing for my high school newspaper, the Mailpack High School Chieftain, I would sit on their bed and read all my articles to them. Like, an article came out about Mailpack High School wrestling. I was reading the article to them. And I know they probably weren't listening, but like, they were at least pretending they were. And I'm no different than the 17-year-old me reading them the articles. You want to impress your parents, and you want them to be proud of you. And when they show no interest in your work, it kind of blows,
Yeah, it's deflating. Yeah.
Well, I personally was a big fan of the Showtime series.
Yes.
I'm a big 80s basketball fan. I mean, I'm 42 years old, so I grew up at the tail end of Magic and Jordan, the start of Jordan and all that stuff. But seeing your work adapted for film and TV, what surprised you most about how Hollywood treated your stories?
It's funny. I was literally walking in LA yesterday, in the Larchmont area, and I hear, hey, Jeff. And it was Spencer Garrett, the guy who plays Chick Hearn in the movie. I hadn't seen him in a long time. And we had this long talk for like 20 minutes, actually. I love that guy so much. I think the most surprising thing, if I'm being honest about it, is how freaking good it was. Like, you just hear horror story after. I have a very good friend of mine wrote a book about Aaliyah, and there was a TV movie about Aaliyah that's just a travesty. The Tupac movie, All Eyes on Me, is an absolute shit show travesty. Like, so like most of the time, I think authors are genuinely bothered by the quality of it, and they have to say, look, I love the show. I thought the casting was amazing. The episodes were great. Did I love every editorial decision? No. Like, I thought I didn't like the Paul Westhead depiction of I think Jason Segel's a great actor. I think they made a really smart man kind of bumbly, and they also gave him a rivalry with Jack McKinney that wasn't real, like stuff like that. But my biggest surprise was how freaking great it was. And like, that remains the best experience of I was going to say career, it might be my life. Like, Winning Time was coming out of COVID. It was this joy. It was this family. It really felt like a family. We had multiple parties at our house where all the cast members would come, the young actors, the older actors, Quincy, who played Magic, and, like Spencer, all these, it was the best, man. It was the best. So like, the biggest surprise for me is how much I loved it, and also how sad I was when it ended, because it kind of cut my heart out.
I love how they had Norm Nixon's son play Norm Nixon.
That was so cool.
When I first saw that, I was like, wow, the resemblance is uncanny. And then I looked at the cast. I was like, oh, okay. Now I see why.
Yeah. Also, I had my wife, my kids, myself. We got to be in episodes, and like, it was just dreamy. And honestly, it was like a dream. It feels like it never happened sometimes, but it was just this dream. And I can't even watch the show now because it makes me sad that it ended. So I don't watch it. But
yeah.
But it was a dream. It was a real dream, and it put my kid paid for my kid's college. So
that works.
Is there kind of transitioning into sports in general? Is there a sports era? It doesn't have to be in baseball. I know this is a baseball podcast, but it could be in any sport. Is there a sports era or moment that fans kind of romanticize that you kind of think is wildly misunderstood, or maybe even overrated?
I mean, all right, I'm not going to say overrated, but I'll say misunderstood. Is I do think Game 6 of the '86 World Series with the Red Sox. This is a little cliche, but I still think it's a true answer. The blame that Bill Buckner got for years and years and years when he had no business being in there. No business of being in there. John McNamara took him out in all those situations. Yep. He had bad knees. He had bad ankles. He was wearing these Nike high tops because he could barely freaking stand. They always had a guy, Dave Stapleton, their backup first baseman, come in ninth inning. John McNamara wanted him out there on the field. The other thing is he took Roger Clemens out, and that's how we get Calvin Schiraldi in there pitching to Mookie Wilson and these. To Ray Knight and Kevin Mitchell and these guys. So like, to me, the blame that Bill Buckner took all those years, it would be like blaming me for giving up a home run in a Major League Baseball game. Like, Buckner shouldn't have been playing first base. He was not capable of playing first base at that point, and he had him in there. And I think the years of abuse that guy took were just, man, ridiculously sad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at the modern athlete here, do you think a modern athlete branding and social media, does it make it harder or easier for journalists to tell the truth?
Oh, harder times a trillion.
Yeah.
I feel like in a way I was around the final era of this idea of like, all right, Gary Sheffield is having a great year with the Dodgers. Let's send a Sports Illustrated reporter. All right, Pearlman, you go, you're going to spend, or John Rocker is a great example.
Yeah.
We want you to profile John Rocker. All right, let's call John Rocker's agent. Oh, you want to profile John? Come on down. You can spend the day with him. He's going to go to a school. Then you guys can go to lunch and you can this. Like, that doesn't exist anymore, in part because of the John Rocker situations. I'm not saying because of John Rocker directly, but John Rocker 2025 is like, fuck that. I'm just going to control my own message on TikTok and Instagram. Like, I don't need to do that. So the athletes controlling their own message via social media has just been a knife to the heart of really good reporting. And even now, college athletes, it used to be like, if Wright Thompson from ESPN wants to come to whatever, Florida State, and write about the quarterback, they would roll out the red carpet.
Yeah.
Nowadays, the quarterback at Florida State, number one, doesn't know who Wright Thompson is. Number two, doesn't go to ESPN.com. He's just looking at social media feeds. And number three, wouldn't even know what to do with the idea of a 5,000 word feature. Like, it wouldn't even, you know what I mean? It'd be like telling someone, I'm going to send you a typewriter to use. Like, they wouldn't even understand the concept of it. So it's a totally different, much more difficult world. Sucks.
Yeah. And with that, with the way the social media is, I mean, you find yourself on TikTok, which you're following. It keeps growing. I mean, from your Bo Jackson story about playing tennis with his heart on or not hard on.
It was ping pong.
Yeah. That shit had me rolling for days. To the latest, like, and then obviously you give us sneak peeks into your book and about Tupac's life. What made you stick to the platform, and are you going to keep sticking to it? And I guess what are the pros and cons of yourself being on TikTok?
I mean, I think the if you want to explain my success on TikTok in one phrase, it's sex appeal. It's a sex appeal. Like that's it.
Yeah.
It's this face and this bod. Obviously,
Yeah. I mean, of course.
Um,
I mean, come on.
TikTok has been the weirdest thing in my life. It's been the
Yeah.
weirdest thing in my career, and that's not hyperbole. I mean, 2 years ago, I wasn't on TikTok. I was. You guys may have heard me tell this story. But I mean, I was on Twitter, which I'm not on anymore. A bunch of sports writers were laid off at different places. I did a tweet, like a double tweet about advice I would give unemployed sports writers. There's a website called The Defector, which is what Deadspin used to be. They have an editor named Tom Lee, who I really have no beef with, but he wrote this column basically slamming me for giving this advice and basically saying, why would you listen to grandpa giving advice on social media, including TikTok?
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it. I'm going to get on TikTok. And my son, Emmett, who's now a college sophomore, is like, Dad, don't get on TikTok. And I'm like, no, I'm getting on TikTok, Dad. Seriously, Dad, don't get on TikTok. Like, no, I'm doing TikTok. He's like, all right, you can do it, but no filters and no politics. And I was like, I won't do filters. So I don't do that much politics, but every now and then when I see an ICE raid, I just can't kidnapping or something.
Yeah.
So I hop on, I start telling stories. It's actually kind of fun. It doesn't take very long. When I hit 10,000 followers, I was like, wow, I have 10,000 followers. I didn't see this coming. My son's like, that's a lot of followers. I hit 100,000. I'm like, I didn't see this coming. I mean, I'm at 330,000 followers on TikTok. It's, I don't even know what to say. Honest to God, like I thought TikTok, and I still think in a lot of ways, TikTok is perfect for like 12-year-old girl lip syncing Taylor Swift's lyrics. You know what I mean? Like Demi Lovato fans. I don't even like, it's weird, but it's been for me. I ended up getting a YouTube series out of it. Like I have a thing called Pressbox Chronicles, which is a YouTube series that came straight out of TikTok. I've had different meetings with different people about optioning my books. I've gotten free hats. Like, and amazing.
Those hats.
I don't know. Free hats, man. Can't, I don't know. It's the weirdest. And like the thing I like about it, honest to God, is unlike Twitter, there is a long form element to it that you wouldn't think. Like you can tell people are like, keep your video short. If you tell a really engrossing 6-minute story about something from sports, people actually will oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes listen. And then you do feel like you're storytelling in kind of an old fashioned, almost like when I was a kid and I would watch you listen to sports talk radio and someone would just give a long story about the Mets catching situation. It kind of feels like that, which is very comfortable for me. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
weird.
I mean, well, and plus with Tupac, with your book release, you get to give your fans and just anybody, even if they're not a fan or a first time watcher, you get to give them little tidbits of everything. And with the Tupac stuff, it's almost like a little series in itself. You're giving us little snippets of things you found out, which I mean, you were talking about Orlando Anderson, I think yesterday or the day before. And I was just like locked in on it. I'm like, oh, wow. And then I had to get on Wikipedia and start reading it up on myself. And it's just stuff like that kind of really keeps you engaged.
No, I appreciate it. I like storytelling. I like chatting. It's funny. One thing I've learned in books, there was a guy, I don't even remember what book he wrote, but somewhat about a year ago, there was a guy who had a book coming out and he was like, yeah, I don't want to give away too much. I don't want to give away too much. Buy the book. And I'm always like, you know what? I'll just tell you whatever you want to know. Like, I'm just like, I'll just tell you whatever I want to know. I think people respond to just being like kind of honest and real and like whatever. And like, I'm not very salesman-y. Like I'll put the link on the bottom if you want to order the book, but just, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just, I really like storytelling. I like writing books, but I'm not one of these guys who's like, if you want to take my book out of the library, great. Like, I don't need you to buy the book if you don't want to buy the book. If you don't want to read the book, it's fine. Like, it's no hard sales pitch here. And I do think people respond to that. I do think ultimately, honest to God, the reason people like a Marjorie Taylor Greene or a Jasmine Crockett over a pick your cut and dry, is they feel like they're being spoken to and heard a little bit. Even if you don't like their messaging, you can be like, at least the person's trying to give like kind of and I feel that way too. Like, I just think like just be chatty and be honest and be upfront and don't be all salesmanship all the time.
Yeah.
Just a little fun question here. How do you celebrate a book release, and what do you do after you're done? Do you just hang out for a bit, or do you chase the next conquest here?
So my wife used to throw me like a party, and she'd have a cake, and she'd invite people over, and I was like, no, I can't.
No.
Can't do this. I can't do it. Like, I don't know. It's unfortunate. I can say this as a New York Jew. When you're raised as a New York Jew, you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, you just are. You're always waiting for what's the bad news? What's going to happen? It's negative. Who's going to be mad at me? Who's going to sue me? Why isn't this book going to sell? Like, it's this disease I have that my late father really gave to me, and I'm sure his late father gave to him. So I love when my favorite moment is when a big box of books show up. That's your first time seeing the book. And I will hold the book. I'll walk around with that book for like 2 weeks. I swear to God, I'll walk the dog. I'll have the book with me, look through the pages, look through the pictures, feel it over, smooth it over, read parts over again. It is for me, it's the high, the all-time high is that. But I just don't have it in me I wish I did. I think it's a bad way to live. I think you're much better off celebrating. We don't get that many joyful moments in life, and you should be able to celebrate them and feel great about them and revel in the accomplishment. I'm not as good as that as I wish I were. So I should be better, but I'm not.
And with that, I guess one of our last questions here is, I don't know if Steve has any more, but are you working on anything next? Are you pre-planning anything? Or are you just taking it easy, or?
No, I'm always working. As I said, I have a 3-book deal. Now, the next book I'm working on, which I'm writing now, is a book that 6 people will read. I'm acknowledging that. I'm acknowledging everything I told you about how I pick a subject. This one does not fall in line with that. I'm already writing for Joy, and I did get money for it, which is basically the 3-book deal. I got 2 big books wedged in, Tupac and then like a Laker-related book, okay? And in the middle, I'm doing a memoir of my early journalism career in Nashville when I was the world's biggest fuck up of all time. And it's just like a self-flagellation of everything I did wrong and all the mistakes. And it involves a lot of like jerking off to Tanya Tucker and like screwing up, crossing police lines, and like everything bad you can imagine. And I just always wanted to write it because I've been telling these stories for years to anyone who will listen. So like, TikTok might be my best friend with this book because it might be the only way it can possibly wind up selling it all. Because I'm not a reality TV star. I'm not a celebrity chef. I'm not a celebrity. It's hard to sell memoirs if you're not one of those 3. But I do my best.
Is this going to be a book where you actually record your own audio for it? You're going to be the narrator on it?
Oh, yeah. Tupac, the only reason I didn't is because you cannot have me using the N-word 800 times in an audio, right?
Yeah.
They were like, are you going to do the audio? I'm like, no, I'm not doing the audio for this book.
That's tough.
This book is going to be hard enough to promote without me doing the audio. I'm not doing the audio.
I never thought that.
They hired a wonderful, wonderful young black man to do the audio. He did a great job. It could not have been me.
Yeah. Steve, do you have anything else before?
I just have one more. Yeah. When it comes to like, back to the researching part of it, how do you decide which parts of a player's on-field achievements versus their off-field controversies should take center stage in a narrative when you're doing a book?
So for me, you guys probably won't like this as sports, like, whatever. Sports, can I call you guys sports nerds? I
Sure,
am.
I'm a nerd.
Be honored. Yeah.
Yeah. We're all in the same club. To me, when I'm writing a book, the on the field stuff isn't nearly as interesting as the off the field stuff. And I don't even mean controversial. It doesn't have to be controversial. I'm talking about like, I want to know how Dwight Gooden became Dwight Gooden, right? Like, I want to know what steps led him to being Dwight Gooden. I want to know Kurt Rambis, the former Laker forward, was like this scrub who got cut and played in Italy and bounced around. Like, I want to know about that journey, like the life journey. I want to know how they think. I want to know what TV shows they watch. I want to know what kind of cigarettes they smoke, what soda they drink. Like, all those things fascinate me more than, then the Lakers beat the Sonics. And then 2 nights later, they traveled to Sacramento. Like, that stuff, the on-court stuff gets to me a little bit old, but the off-the-court stuff never gets old. And the thing I really like, really in all these books, even the Clemens book, like there's so many side characters who wind up being really interesting. Like, even though I mentioned Clemens, it's my least favorite book I wrote. Like Roger Clemens had a brother, an older brother named Randy, who was his hero, who wound up being a hardcore drug addict. And that scarred his brother for years and years. So like, as boring as Roger Clemens is, that part of his life is actually genuinely fascinating. So I love that stuff. When it comes to like writing about on-field stuff, it needs to be really special. It needs to be really important moments or really telling moments. Someone throws up on a court, and then cleans it up or something like that. I don't know. Like, but usually the off-the-court stuff is much more interesting. Off the field is more interesting to me. For a book.
Right.
In fact, I would say one more thing. If you read a sports book, and I think the biggest flaw, if I were telling young sports authors or new sports authors, is this tendency to be like, and then the Yankees played 5 games against the Twins and Tigers, and they split 3 of them. David Wells threw for blah, 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 blah. And then they went on to Oakland. Like, that stuff, you tend to get immersed in it when you're working on the book. But the reality is, reading it is not very interesting most of the time.
You're a storyteller, and it's, we could talk to you for hours, obviously. But everyone, be sure to follow Jeff Pearlman on TikTok I think it's at Jeff Pearlman author. And
I don't even know. It's so pathetic. I don't even know. I think maybe
he's like, I'm just on the ride, man.
I just work here.
Everybody go out and read or listen to his latest book, Only God Can Judge Me, The Many Lives of Tupac Shakur. Thanks for joining us, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Well, like I said earlier, that was a pretty dope interview. The cool thing about Jeff Pearlman, I noticed, he's just very much a regular guy. And just like, all the, it was like an awe moment. So it was a lot of fun. I know it was a bucket list, like you said, bucket list moment for you, Mike. So I'm glad that we were able to do that. So
yeah, great books. Great books, great everything. It was great, man. It was great having him. Hopefully to have him again in the future, maybe to promote his next book. And we got a little insight too, right? I mean, he told us kind of what he's working on. You got that 3 big book deal. One's about a Laker, one's about himself.
Yep.
I mean,
and then he did the Tupac book, and then he's going to do a little book, about himself, and then he's going to do another Laker book. So, big Lakers fan, history of the Lakers. So, it'll be looking forward to all this. So,
I can't wait.
With that, shall we head on over to Collection Corner?
Let's do it.
All right. Yeah. Ready to ride the next big hobby wave? Market Movers puts the entire sports card and TCG market right in your hands, with pricing on over 7 million cards, powered by real sales data from every major marketplace, including eBay, Fanatics Collect, Golden, Heritage, and more. Track your collection on mobile or desktop instantly, see value and P&L by sport, year, player, set, or grade, compare any cards side by side, monitor live price swings to spot trends early, uncover underpriced deals, and set custom alerts so you never miss a move. With Market Movers, you turn market data into smarter buys, bigger profits, and a stronger collection. Sign up today and try it risk-free for 14 days. Plus, get 20% off for life with promo code GONE20 at marketmoversapp.com.
Let's see if I
can. All right. Well, I think you might. As we all know, I was on my Market Movers app here and put this particular player in. This is a guy who we talk about a lot on our show. Can be hot and cold. He's spent his career with 2 teams. He was drafted in the first round of the 2012 MLB draft, 18th overall by the Los Angeles Dodgers. And he chose to sign with the Dodgers instead of attending South Carolina. Made his major league debut in 2015 for the Dodgers. Played with the Dodgers from about 2015, 2021. Kind of up and down. When he's healthy, he's a fantastic player. When he's not, well, it sucks. And then after that, he moved on to Texas, and what we thought was a very questionable signing. So far in his career, he's a .289 career batting average, 1,254 hits, 221 home runs, 667 runs batted in. He's a 5-time All-Star. He is a 2-time World Series champion, won one with the Dodgers and won one with the Rangers, 2-time World Series MVP. So when he is healthy and playing, he's one hell of a player. good enough to win the MVP twice in the World Series. All MLB first team in 2023. He was the National League Rookie of the Year in 2016. NLCS MVP as well in that 2020 year for the Dodgers, and a 3-time Silver Slugger Award winner as well. Currently in his role with the Texas Rangers, he is their shortstop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Wow, you basically spoon-fed me that one.
I try. I try to give some gimmies every so often. Yeah, just totally slam it home, man.
Yeah.
Slam it home.
Yeah. Yes, so Puig. No.
Corey
Seager?
It is Corey Seager.
You're right, man. He could be one of the best. You remember you and I had a conversation about Corey Seager earlier this year, and we were saying he could be the best player in baseball if he just wasn't injured all the time.
He just stayed healthy.
Yep.
The card I picked on the Mark Movers app here is his 2017 Topps number 5. It's his Gold Cup card, so it's a second-year card for when he was with the Dodgers. Last recent sale has him going for about a net value right now of $1.22.
Nice.
Corey Seager. Yeah.
Definitely good.
What you got for me?
Okay, so you should be able to get my guy pretty easily. He started out with the Tampa Bay Rays, right? Yeah, and he was a shortstop in high school, and then he ended up moving. Yeah, and then I think that's kind of where he said that he figures, okay, I could definitely make the majors. He was selected by the Tampa Bay Rays as the 3rd overall pick in the 2006 MLB draft. He, at that time, the highest draft selection in school history. Tampa Bay gave him a $3 million signing bonus, and then from there, he kind of just took off in their system pretty good. A good right-handed power hitter for the most part. He doesn't play anymore. I mean, he does put it this way. His debut was in 2008, and then his last appearance was for the Arizona Diamondbacks in 2023. He also played for the San Francisco Giants for about almost 4 or 5 years. Career statistics, definitely not Hall of Fame worthy, but I'm sure he'll end up going in the Rays Hall of Fame. 264 batting average, home runs 342, and runs batted in 1,159. A great glove at the hot corner. Played third base, led him to 3 Gold Gloves, and he was AL Rookie of the Year in 2008, 3-time All-Star from 2008 to 2010, and then he kind of fell off a cliff.
Okay.
Very much Chris Bryant-esque, where he started really hot, and then he just fell. I mean, he was in commercials. Remember that commercial? This might even give it away, where he caught a baseball from a report. Remember a reporter?
Yeah.
He was that reporter, and then he caught this baseball, which was clearly CG, clearly effects. And he was just a guy that moved on in the sport and did really well, a good leader in the clubhouse, but always a pretty decent hitter. But like I said, he kind of just fell off a cliff at a point in his career in the mid-2010s. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Could it be I was going to say Desperate Housewives Eva Longoria, but no, you're talking about Evan Longoria, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Evan Longoria, one of the best players in the Rays history. I mean, you look back at the Rays, you could probably say him, because they're such a new franchise in the last 25 years. You could say him, David Price, even Wade Boggs. I think Wade Boggs started out with the club. So, and I think he got retired by them too. So, I went into the Market Movers app, and it's a card that's on the rise. It's up $11.50 currently. I picked his 2010 Topps Chrome Blue Refractor, Evan Longoria. It's number 144 of 299, but yeah, there's 299 of them, and consistently sell in the up between $11 and $12 for sure. So Evan Longoria is my pick this week.
Wow, solid. I like it.
Yes, sir.
Shall we get the candles out and celebrate a birthday?
Let's do it.
All right, well, looking online, I wish I had cards of this guy, but I just don't have the money for them. But I guess one of my favorites of this particular card would be his T206 Piedmont cigarette bat off the shoulder card. And that's none other than it's a happy heavenly birthday to the Georgia Peach, Tiger Great and Hall of Famer Ty Cobb, Tyrus Raymond Cobb, born on December 18th of 1886. little stats on Mr. Cobb. Definitely Hall of Fame worthy, I would say.
Yes.
There's no veterans committee on this one.
Didn't need it.
Career 366 batting average, 4,189 hits, 117 home runs, 1,944 runs batted in, 897 stolen bases, and he managed a bit too, to the tune of 479 wins and a career winning percentage of .519. As a player, played for the Detroit Tigers from 1905 to 1926, and the Philadelphia Athletics from 1927 to 1928. He's a one-time MVP, 1911 Triple Crown winner, a 12-time AL batting champion, an AL home run leader, surprisingly. Didn't really hit many home runs, but led the AL in 1909. Four-time AL RBI leader, six-time AL stolen base leader. His name is honored by the Detroit Tigers because they didn't have numbers at the time. He also has a statue there at Comerica Park, and he's part of Major League Baseball's All-Century team. He was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1936, the first class for that Hall of Fame. Obviously, first ballot, 98.2% of the vote. A little trivia on Mr. Cobb. During his 24-year career, he hit 300 in a record 23 consecutive seasons, with the exception being his rookie season. He also hit 400 in 3 different seasons, a record he shares with 3 other players. Cobb has more 5-hit games, 14, than any other player in Major League history.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah.
Wow. That's a Hall of Famer. That is a Hall of Famer. Not saying you got to get to those kind of stats. That's like next level, next tier. I mean, if there was a Hall of Fame above the Hall of Fame, he'd be in it.
Yeah, he would be there. Yeah.
So, absolutely. So, man.
Yeah. Happy heavenly birthday to Tyrus Raymond Cobb, and also a great business guy. I mean, he invested in Coke and had those Coke stocks, made a lot of money after baseball because of his savvy business moves. So
yeah, happy birthday, you mean son of a bitch.
I was gonna say kind of rough around the edges, some of the stories
little racist,
little racist. Kind of attack some people. I think I heard an Ernie Harwell story one time where the butcher or something, the delivery person left some meat in between his door, in between his screen door and regular door while he was at a game or something. And when he came home, the meat had obviously spoiled. So he went to the butcher shop and beat the crap out of the butchers. So, there's stuff like that. There you go.
There we go. Yeah. You called Ernie Harwell the N-word one day. No.
Oh, I probably did. Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy. Well, that's a fucking show.
Oof. Good show, man. Good show.
Absolutely. Next week, we got our Market Movers guests next week. So look forward to that, guys, as we inch towards Christmas. That will be kind of our Christmas show.
It is.
Before we take our week off.
Yeah, we'll do our show next week, gather around the tree for a little Christmas fun, and then we'll take our 1 week of the year off, and then we'll hit the ground running in 2026.
Hit the ground running with Sarah's coming out of the gate. We got DJ Carrasco. We got some good guests and some more coming around the corner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so in the meantime, guys, have a great week. Stay safe Christmas shopping out there, and we will catch you guys all next week.
Deuces.